Hello everyone. The topic of today's lesson is development of measures to improve the functioning of the transport network and evaluation of their effectiveness. And today we will examine the reconstruction of the urban transport network. Today we will stages of developing measures for the reconstruction of the urban transport network. Familiarize yourself the methodology for developing measures to the city's transport network and analyze the effectiveness of potential in the measures. Develop two options for reconstructing and transport network. Perform a comparative analysis of the proposed transport network reconstruction options and select the most effective one. Document the calculation results and write a conclusion. The results of the analysis of the operating parameters of transportation flows serve as the basis for justifying and developing measures to improve the transport network. The purpose of implementing such measures is to increase efficiency of transport flows by improving the conditions of movement in the transportation network. The main measures to improve the transportation network include building the new roads, increasing the width of the roadway, organizing the system of streets with one-way traffic, and rational distribution of the roadway by direction of movement. Transport planning measures provide a comprehensive impact on traffic flows. The most significant results of implementing measures to improve urban transport networks are presented in the table on the slide. It is necessary to develop two options for reconstructing the transport network and use the VISUM software to calculate the distribution and determine the efficiency criterion of the transport network's functioning. Each of the proposed options for the urban transport network should include at least three of the measures presented in table on the slide. One of the developed reconstruction option is selected. Reference is given to option to provide satisfactory traffic flow conditions and the best value for the efficiency criterion on the transport network's functioning. I will now launch the VISUM program and we will examine this detail. The program has started and we will consider measures to the efficiency of the transportation system using this small example. I have a small model network city. Let's try to organize one-way traffic. For instance, in this part of the transport network. Since we have two parallel here connected by streets that allow cars to spend minimal time changing direction when implementing one-way traffic. Let's try to organize one-way traffic, for instance, this part of the transport network. Since we have two parallel here connected by streets that allow cars to spend time changing direction when implementing one-way traffic. To achieve this, we will build connecting streets. We will add nodes, dividing these links at the necessary point. Next, we will add links, adjusting their shape to follow the profile of the road curves. Then, to create one-way traffic, we need to select the link and call up the menu item where we click the button to choose transport system. In the window that appears, we need to leave only pedestrian traffic, turning off all other types of transport. It is also necessary to ensure that movement in the required direction is prohibited. For example, in our case, on the road on the left, cars will move from the top to bottom, that is, from north to south, and from the streets on the right in the opposite direction. For example, in our case, on the road on the left, cars will move from top to bottom, that is from north to south, and for the streets on the right in the opposite direction. By the way, with the help of modeling this program, we can determine in which direction and on which road it will be more efficient for cars to move. So after this, we can redistribute the traffic flow and see how they redistribute in the transportation network, taking into account the introduction of one-way traffic. The new measure for improving the transportation network that we will consider is the construction of a new road. For this measure, we need to identify congested sections of the transport network and attempt to reduce traffic flow on them by using the new road. The new road may pass through undeveloped parts of the city, and in some cases it may be necessary to relocate residents and demolish their homes. If a new bridge over a river is planned, a road will also need to be built to the bridge. So for the construction of the new road, we can select a section in this part of the city because it is undeveloped and we can easily connect these two road arteries, this one and this one. So do this, we will edit a node by splitting this link. Then we will construct the new road by editing a link. Since there is a river in this location, in practice, it will also be necessary to build a bridge to construct this road. This could significantly increase the capital investment required for construction, which in turn will require detailed justification for building such a road. Let's redistribute the traffic flow again and see how the construction of the new road affects the distribution of the traffic flow in this section of the road transport network. The final measures to improve the transportation network that we will consider today is the widening of the roadway. For this measure, it is also necessary to identify congested section of the transportation network and to check if there is a physical possibility to expand the road at the selected section. So we have here its road congested. So we can use alternative way with this plus, and we can expand this road. For this, in the initial design stage, one can use the Google Street View function in Google Maps. Of course, to implement an actual road widening project, access to the city's master plan is required. This will help to understand where the red line are on the city's plan. Thus, after redistributing traffic flows, we can see significant traffic volumes on this street. Let's try to widen the road on alternative road for traffic flows. For this, we will add lines on this section and redistribute the traffic flows. As we can see, by widening the alternative road, we have managed to relieve the section of the road network overloaded with traffic flow. This allowed us to balance the amount of traffic flow through the city's transportation network. To evaluate the effectiveness of the implement measures to improve traffic flow, it is necessary to calculate the travel time matrix of the transportation network. With this matrix, we can determine the average travel time for vehicles in the city's transportation network. We can also calculate the average travel time before implementing our developed traffic flow improvement measures, and then compare the obtained values. If the travel time through the network decreases, our measures can be implemented. If the travel time doesn't not decreases but instead increases, this indicates that it is necessary to continue searching to measures to improve the efficiency of travel of traffic flows. In the conclusion of this work, it is necessary to indicate which measures allowed the reduction of the average travel time for weeks and by how much. So today we have considered various approaches to increasing the efficiency of traffic flows in the city's transport network. If you have any questions regarding the execution of this work, you can ask them now in the chat or later on the forum's online course.